started the 2021 season of Shelico Marathon a couple of days back. We're really excited to get started. For those of you who tuned in late and don't know what Shelico Marathon is, we'll be leaving the links to the episode 1 in the description below. Make sure you tune in. That will give you an insight of what the competition is and insight of how the team functions as well. So 2021 is an exciting chapter not only for Shelico Marathon but all participating teams as well. Why is that? Because this is going to be a hybrid competition. Why do they call it hybrid? Because it's going to be a mixture of virtual events and on-track events as well. So it's starting off with the virtual events, which have basically 5 different types of challenges or competitions. The first one being Pitch the Future. So Pitch the Future is a new competition by Shell, and what they're basically expecting is they're expecting students and participating teams from around the world to showcase their STEM skills in order to solve existential problems in the field of engineering that are existing in the world today basically. So they are basically giving us 4 challenges, and the team has the feasibility or the option to choose 1 or more challenges, and we have to provide a solution to it which is feasible and which can be applied on a large scale as well. So what are these 4 challenges? They are the decarbonizing the home, and the one more is the net carbon neutral vehicles, the third one being the decarbonizing road freight transport, and the last and final one is the long-term electric mobility or driving electric vehicles for longer distances basically. So the student teams should select either of these topics and produce solutions which are feasible in written form first, and then they are also having this option of using the Adobe Creative Cloud, wherein they can showcase their solutions in much creative fashion. So that's about Pitch the Future. The registrations for the same ended on the September 30th. We'll be discussing about each of the challenges in the later segment of the show. Moving on to the second virtual competition, it is the Autonomous Programming Competition. This was actually a beta level type of competition which was kind of experimented with the Shelico Marathon Americas, and it was a huge success there. That's one of the main reasons why we have this as an event in this virtual league of 2021, Shelico Marathon. So what this is actually being partnered with Southwest Research Institute, and they're expecting students to basically program autonomous vehicles that can actually move around with noticing obstacles and using control algorithms using the robot operating system or ROS, and simulate it using the Microsoft Edge. These 2 student teams that are actually opting for this competition would be given training of some sort, wherein they'll be sharing the training material and also the sample code to get started. That's the second event. Moving on, the third virtual event is the Virtual Off-Track Awards. This is not something new because it was just introduced in the 2020 event, and owing to the pandemic, because the on-track event was not possible, Shell made these available, and it was a really good initiative by Shell. And it's continued for the same for the 2021 season because the pandemic is still out there and Shell really cares about the safety of all the participants. So what's new in this virtual off-track awards is that like the existing competitions will obviously be there, be it the communications, the vehicle design and prototype and urban concept, the technical innovation award and the safety award. There are 2 new awards actually which will be added to the existing awards. The first one being the Innovate to Simulate award by Altair. So what are they looking at is they're looking at computer aided engineering design techniques used to optimize the design of our vehicle, paid prototype or orbit concept. So the team which makes optimum use of the CAE skills will be awarded with the same. And the next award is the Data and Telemetry award, wherein they're expecting us to use real-time vehicle data or at least close to real-time vehicle data to enhance the efficiency of the vehicle. So all student teams which showcase exceptional skills in this format, they'll be awarded with the Data and Telemetry award. So that's new for the Virtual Off-Track Awards this time. The fourth event is actually the Virtual Technical Inspection. And to all participating teams out there, technical inspection is not something new because it's a prerequisite which has to be passed by every participating team if at all they want their vehicle to go on track. So this time it's going virtual, wherein it's again must and should compulsory for all teams that are aiming for an on-track event next year, that's the 2021. So if you are aiming to do so, please make sure that you register for the same, that is the virtual technical inspection. What they're going to do is, based on infrastructure and all of the availabilities and other feasibilities, they'll be getting on live with the teams, basically on video calls, and they'll be checking the status of the vehicle. And this time there's a glitch here where you cannot show any rendered sketches or analysis of the design that's underway. You'll have to have physical components that are manufactured, either the chassis, be it the body, or be it any sort. It has to be a physical component and it has to be showcased in the video call when the technical inspection of virtual is happening. So that's about the virtual technical inspection. The last one is the bonus challenges. These would be coming up in between during the entire duration of the virtual week, and they are actually surprise ones. They'll be intimated just a couple of days before the submission is required, and they are put in place to make sure that the student teams get more points by opting for these. So after the virtual league is done, each of the competitions that I mentioned before, so there'll be points awarded for the same. So say team A has opted for Pitch the Future and they opted for decarbonizing the home mini challenge, and based on how they performed for the same and how feasible the solutions are, you would be judged out of 25 points. And if you're a regional winner and then go on to become a global winner, you'll just be added again 25 virtual points for the same. The same goes with all the other competitions. You'll be awarded points as the competition moves on. And finally, once the virtual league is about to end or it ends, the team which has the most points wins. So they'll be adjudged the global winners of the virtual league. We can't wait to see who that is. Moving on, in the next section, we have Vishwas, who will be explaining to you each of these mini challenges in detail.
Hey guys, I'm Vishwas and I'm the content head for Team Inferno. And today, we'll be discussing about the Pitch the Future challenges. The first challenge is decarbonizing our homes. Decarbonizing our homes is one of many ways we can be more conscious of our current lifestyles. But first, let's understand what decarbonizing means. Decarbonization refers to the removal of carbon from the environment, in this case of housing. Homeowners can reduce energy and use and reliance on fossil fuels, that is, for example, gas furnaces, and choose building materials that require either low amounts of carbon emissions to manufacture and transport, or actively sequestrate carbon by storing carbon that is drawn from the atmosphere. We will address how you should consider your energy and material uses and how you can develop a carbon neutral home. The objective of this challenge is to support this ambition by developing a new and innovative concept that helps to decrease carbon dioxide emissions in the home without compromising comfort and convenience. In a creative and visually engaging way, we have to discuss our concept ideas and potential solutions of how we might accomplish this. For example, these solutions may include using of efficient electric or lighting appliances, smart controls that help control your home through your smartphones or virtual assistants, and using induction cooktops instead of traditional gas and LPG. We can find many such instances where we can effectively reduce our carbon footprints right in our homes. Shell has already taken initiative and have started the Shell Energy project in the UK to help decarbonize homes systematically without any complications. The second challenge is net carbon neutral vehicles. Microsoft has committed to becoming carbon negative by 2030 and removing companies' historical carbon emissions by 2050. To do so, we will need systems to properly measure and reduce emissions as well as support and innovations from the society. Since passenger cars are responsible for a significant amount of CO2 emissions, one critical opportunity is to turn cars into a solution rather than a problem. The objective of this challenge is to design a future potential build, an inclusive system prototype for passenger vehicles that can track CO2 emissions and provide a global overview of CO2 emissions from cars, and provide suggestions to drivers on how to reduce emissions from driving. So basically, we need to consider how we are going to capture, process, and use data from passenger cars to monitor driver behavior, acceleration, and handling, and how we can enrich the data to track CO2 emissions, for example, including additional sensors, and how we can provide feedback to the drivers on CO2 emissions from their vehicles. The third challenge is decarbonizing road freight transport. The global pandemic has thrown into focus how much the communities rely on road freight and its complex ecosystem of international networks. However, governments are simultaneously pursuing sustainable solutions as part of green recovery plans that may affect this sector. Our challenge is to develop an innovative concept that helps decarbonize roads freight transport without compromising the effectiveness of the e-commerce delivery chain. Shell's ambition is to be a net zero emissions energy by 2050 or sooner, and to partner closely with the customers in key industries as they seek to decarbonize. One good example is the road freight industry, which plays a key role in the global economy, but is also the highest emitting sector, responsible for about 8% of global CO2 emissions. Companies in the light duty sector are using drone deliveries and other new services to increase efficiencies associated with the last mile deliveries. While electric mobility is believed to be the best solution for light commercial vehicles, middle to heavy freight trucks face more complexities related to the future fuels, infrastructure, and adoption. So the challenge is to consider how else the industry can be decarbonized with road freight transport and beyond the electrification of vehicles. The objective of this challenge is to develop a new and innovative concept that helps to decarbonize road freight transport without compromising customer expectations of the timely distribution and delivery of the products. We can focus innovative solutions in any place along the product delivery chain, from the shipping on the factory floor to the doorstep of the delivery at customers' homes or businesses. The fourth and the last challenge is electric mobility. Long distance travel with electric vehicles. The widespread adoption of electric vehicles will play a critical role in reduction of global emissions. To address customer anxieties around EV range, Shell is investing in a range of options to increase the number of charging points and the speed of charging. The objective of this challenge is to plan a non-electric drive from one of three options, from Buckingham Palace in London to Red Square in Moscow, or Watarun in Bangkok to Yew Garden in Shanghai, or the Sugarloaf Mountain in Rio to the CN Tower in Toronto. We need to identify the routes that we would take and the measures that we would take to improve the range and the speed of charging, among other challenges faced during this journey.
So that's it for the mini challenges, guys. Hope you got a clear picture of what these challenges are and about the entire concept of the 2021 chapter of Shell Marathon. We are really excited to get started with this journey, and we'll keep giving updates on the way about the competition, about the newer competitions, about how we are faring, about what the challenges are. So make sure you stay tuned. We'll also be dropping the links for the registration site of Shell to make sure that it's available for all new teams as well, because Shell Marathon is not a competition that is only present for existing engineering teams or student teams around the world. So make sure you check the description. And thanks for tuning in. That's it for today. Hope to see you in the next episode with some other exciting new content. Until then, stay sketch and excel.